Well, hello everybody. I'm Nate Nielsen. On the same team as Mr. Hosking over here, representing Windows Commercial Engagement. And today I wanted to talk with you guys a little bit about Windows accessibility. Now with AI. More specifically, I just want to talk about, what is accessibility, why people use it, why it's important for organizations, why it's important for the everyday people. And then kind of talk about a little bit more in terms of what it can do. So some of the general controls, and then some of the new things that we've got coming along with fluid dictation, narrator, and rich image description. So we got some demos that we'll showcase a little bit.
Hopefully marketing comes along with a better name for rich image description.
Yeah, well.
So it's a bit of a mouthful to present rich image description.
Yeah.
Every single time. But anyway.
Rid.
Yeah, you want to get rid of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So accessibility. The thing we have to take into account is that there's short-term and long-term needs for this, right? In terms of long-term, somebody might have vision problems. There might be, physically disabled in some sort of capacity. So we have to account for that. But also from a short-term perspective, maybe it's wintertime. Maybe you slip and fall and hurt your wrist. You need to be able to, still do your job, still be able to be productive. And from the conversations that I've had with a number of different customers, across the industries, they have identified this as being a very key thing, especially during the wintertime when people fall and hurt themselves when they're skiing or just walking on icy ground or what have you. Then you need to have accessibility tools. They need to be able to do dictation, whatever it might end up being. Maybe it's just using the magnifier to zoom in on some text or what have you.
Maybe presenting using the magnifier.
Exactly. Being able to zoom.
Exactly.
So there's a very real need for this for any regular person. This isn't, a strict niche scenario at the end of the day. So there is a very real enterprise need. I've talked with dozens of customers, big and small, across all around the world, really. And Austin can attest to this as well.
Oh, yes. Very, very, very common conversation. We talk about this as part of our monthly briefing that we do.
Yes.
And part of the conversation with one of my customers, like, yeah, when I broke my wrist, fluid dictation, brilliant. Like, oh, okay, cool. Happy to hear. Well, they were using dictation, which was the old version.
The regular one.
Yeah, I'm really curious when you get to fluid because that's something I've been toying with, and I need to see the next level. So,
Yeah. Have you got a Copilot Plus device?
No, but I'll buy one if I can get that. So
Yeah.
all right.
But we have AI PC. AI PC was efficient.
There's some nuance to that conversation.
I'm not buying into that conversation. Let's move on.
Nonetheless, with our AI improvements that we're putting into our various accessibility tools, which we'll get into a little bit later on with some fun demos, you can actually come to find that there is some real use that, us as regular people are able to get usage out of. Like, I use dictation pretty frequently, actually, because our dictation now is pretty solid.
Yeah.
So it's nice if I'm just like walking around in my office or doing whatever, and I can just basically just tell what I can just say an email and have it be written out for me.
So just out of interest, how many of your team today would have like a drag and dictate or some sort of accessibility tool in your environment?
Jaws.
Yep, that's a common one.
Yeah, Jaws or like NVDA or something like that. That's more of a free open source model.
It's not my team, but it's users that I support. I mean, there are students who have accommodations and use the dictation features in either Word or.
Mm-hmm.
How frustrating is the technology?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I won't go off on, but it's not. It's not perfect.
It's not ideal.
Yep.
And the big challenge. I work at a bilingual school.
Yes.
And so the configuration challenges of like, okay, I'm going to talk in English in this class. I'm going to talk in French in this class, or make it even worse, I'm going to talk in the same document in two different languages, and don't tell me everything's spelled wrong in this half and spelled wrong in that.
Oh yes. That's a fun adventure.
Right. So personally, the biggest thing for us would be or to able to notice that you're changing languages and keep going.
How interesting. I wonder if we're able to do that at some point.
And I would add,
Yes.
because we also, one of the big tools we use is the PowerPoint live captioning.
Yes.
Yes.
And the same challenge where we have we have a presentation up and, the first speaker speaks in English, the second speaker speaks in French, but you can only, you can change that setting, but I have to get up as the tech person to change that setting because nobody else can figure out how to change.
What I would suggest is watch this big event in a couple of weeks around.
Okay. But do I have to have a Copilot PC to do it?
I don't know.
Okay. That because I don't have any of those. So
That's actually a good question, right?
Yeah.
So one of the conversation points we are having with our accessibility team and the people developing all these toolings, they're sitting there and going, great, we're doing all of this Copilot Plus exclusive components for the accessibility requirements for people who have the requirement for the tooling. Is it too big of a burden to need to have a Copilot Plus device?
for yes.
Hmm.
Because I have a 4 to 5 year, rotation cycle.
Yeah.
So at the best, maybe in 5 years. But even the device, I literally placed an order this week, and to save $200, I bought the AI PC version versus the Copilot. It was a Lenovo device.
Yeah.
So I got the
Thank you, Intel.
I got the U processor instead of the V processor.
Uh-huh.
Because it saved me $200
Yep.
per unit, and because I at this point don't see enough benefit to spend that $200 extra per device.
No,
That
but
means it's going to be another 4 years before I.
so here's a question for you. If you had somebody with accessibility requirements and you had to buy a special computer for just that use case,
Yes, I would do it.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because to give that example, I bought a special iPad, a bigger iPad for a kid who has vision problems.
Yep.
And the difference between a 10-inch and a 13-inch iPad doesn't sound like a lot, but it's huge.
It's critical.
Yeah.
When you
We can
have,
zoom it in.
Yeah.
when you have vision challenges. So if there's a shown accommodation need and there's a solution that is available, then we would spend because sometimes it's a bigger monitor, sometimes it's a height adjustable monitor.
Yeah.
The same thing is, with your Copilot PC, great, as long as it's similar enough that managing it doesn't cause me.
No, this is true of like tons of our other customers too. Like if there's a legitimate use case
Right.
or need is a better way to put it, they'll certify the device, make sure that it meets all the criteria that it needs to meet, but then they'll make the accommodation to ensure that whether it's a screen thing, whether it's ensuring there's a Copilot Plus PC
Right.
because it has this particular accessibility scenario.
Right.
They're trying to make that accommodation for that user at the end of the day because there's huge organizations that have 400,000 employees all around the world, and they work very diligently. They have a accessibility board or council, to however they phrase it nowadays. But they'll go through They'll go through and identify those unique instances. And if the tooling is better, they will justify the purchase.
Yep.
But I will say it needs to be abundantly clear in marketing or prerequisites or something like this feature works on Copilot PCs
Yeah.
and this feature
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yes.
Because sometimes that messaging is not the super clear.
So we don't hate.
So, because if I need to go make a justification, I need to be able to go to the thing and say, says this feature is only available on this class of machine.
So here's a conversational point around that though, is if we were to say this functionality is only available offline on this class of device, does that define what you need?
Think so?
So what I'm saying, for example, is if we're using a AI model locally on the device, you don't need to be connected to the internet once you've set it all up to be able to leverage that tool. Is that enough of a justification to be able to sit there for the scenario?
Well, so I'll put it a different way. If you tell me that because I bought this device, I don't have to have a $30 a month per user license,
Yes.
then you've sold, because
Yeah.
by
Okay.
paying $200 once
Yes.
instead of spending $360 a year over
Yep.
like the device, that's the sale.
Of course. Yeah.
So yeah, if you say this feature becomes built in, quote
Yes.
unquote, in the price instead of an add-on because of that, then yes.
And that's the important thing is all the stuff that we're talking about today, it's built into the OS.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not behind Pro, it's not behind Enterprise. It's
You don't need
in
special licensing or what have you.
every version of
Yeah,
Windows.
that's the main thing is it not against Copilot, whatever the $30 month thing is called.
Yeah, no. So
No.
this is behind Copilot Plus.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is the hardware SKU
Right.
and the marketing special awesome term.
And that-
We'll leave it at that because that will get me into trouble otherwise.
And that's the challenging thing is, again, not your fault, but the
Uh-huh.
the marketing of Copilot, the upsell software or cloud product versus Copilot, the hardware product.
Yes,
You know,
we know.
We're familiar.
you know, people in this room may understand it, but the people that I gotta go to approve the PO,
Yeah.
I hear you.
you know,
Yeah.
they don't understand.
I mean, it's
I
true
hear
across
ya.
all of our customers. I mean,
Yep.
like a bunch of my customers are on the same device refresh cycle that you're on,
Right.
where it's like 3 to 4 to 5 years.
Right.
They're still iterating and going through and buying these Copilot Plus PCs. But you're right. There is tremendous amounts of confusion around the naming conventions, but that's good old Microsoft marketing for you.
Right, and you know, for my student devices, I buy Surface Pros, but because I wasn't ready to make the jump to ARM, I
Yeah.
still bought the Surface Pro 11th edition for business
Yes.
edition. You know, that is an Intel-based one.
Yeah.
I think is an AI PC, but it's not a Copilot based.
No, it's Copilot Plus, yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if the 11 was Copilot.
No. So any Surface devices that are new, they're Copilot Plus devices,
Yeah.
is my understanding.
They meet the certification requirements.
Yep.
Since
There are reference architecture, so
Yeah, but there's Surface Pro ARM and Surface Pro Intel.
I've got Surface Pro Intel right there, and it's got an NPU in it.
Okay,
I'm
and
using
sufficient NPU.
yeah. So I'm using fluid dictation. The
Yep.
funny thing is, in our demos, because we're running different builds, insider, internal stuff,
Right.
on that device, it worked better than on my ARM device.
Yeah.
But my ARM device is 12 months old.
Right.
And a retail device that I turned into a professional device. So it's like, yeah, sure. Like, and my NPU is a little bit janky on that device, but that's a different problem. But the Intel device, the Surface 11 or 10 or whatever it is,
Right.
seven, that's a 7. Yeah, no, it's Copilot Plus. It does everything you expect.
Right.
Yes, I'm not a marketing person, and I don't worry about versions.
Top 7 versus a Pro. So
They are the same.
I know, I know. That's the marketing, but they're all just Surface Pro 13. It's no longer a 11th edition.
Of course, we've made it easy.
See, and here's the struggle, is that you have a replacement life cycle of 5 years.
Right.
Microsoft wants that to be 1 year.
No, we don't.
no, definitely don't.
We do not. I can tell you that right now without any hesitation.
Yeah.
Without any hesitation, that is definitely not what we want you to be doing. Are we thinking about? Are we thinking about year 2, 3, 4, and 5? No, but we definitely do not want you to be replacing your computer after 1 year.
No.
All of the Windows 11 devices, and I know you're going to sit there and go, "Oh my God!" And we are going on a tangent. We do need to move, but I and Mr. Hajit can definitely attest to this. We very much went down a lot of rabbit holes around the Windows 11. Oh, you don't need TPM 2.0. Oh, you're e-waste. No. We've been saying for 5 years, this is the minimum hardware spec.
Yeah.
5 years ago, that is when TPM 2.0 was the industry standard for commercial devices. 5 years ago was when it was the industry standard for the required CPUs, RAM, disk, everything. So,
It's 8 years. Every
No.
every year.
as in, they must produce new
Right,
devices
I'm
with
saying
that.
I have 8-year-old
Yep.
devices that are running. You know, I'm buying Gen 10s and
Yep.
all my Gen 3s of the ones I bought are Windows 11 compliant.
Yeah.
That's an 8-year-old computer. So,
Yep.
I mean, yeah, you can complain they're invalidating old computers, but I mean, if you're running 9-year-old computers, maybe the fact that
Yep.
Windows 11 doesn't run on it makes it your own as well,
Yeah, correct.
you know?
Yeah. And that's exactly the point that we're getting at is we don't want to have those computers going to the recyclers.
Right.
We want them to be continued used, but technology in 5 years has changed a lot.
Vastly.
And that TPM is super important now, especially when you start factoring in the AI components. Give it, I'm not going to put a timeline on it, but give it time. And any of those older devices, the NPU on your device will crack it.
Yeah.
It will get there. Let's just make that assumption. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about.
Really good.
Accessibility general.
Yeah, as we've been kind of alluding to when it comes to where we are today when it comes to accessibility, we have a whole bunch of stuff that's built into the operating system, right? So all these different things in terms of what we're talking about with our customers, what they need, what their actual concerns are, deal with things like dictation, narration, image description, supporting people who may have vision issues, hearing issues, or what have you. So all these tools you can access straight from settings, right? It's very straightforward. You go into the settings menu, you're able to go through, you can identify a magnifier, you can go through mess with audio, dictation, narrator, all in one place. So it's actually quite easy to be able to turn any of these features on and manipulate them and customize them to your heart's desire, basically. And what we're hearing from customers is, great, we would like more. Because sometimes we're dealing with other competitors, like JAWS, for example, who is typically seen as an industry leader in certain capacities.
And competing with ourselves.
Exactly.
How many people know who owns Dragon Dictate?
Yes, you guys do so.
Yeah, we
do now.
purchased it 5 years ago.
Yeah. We do now.
There wasn't a US government fight over that.
No, it was a very quiet one.
Yes.
But
Forever ago now.
that was a good one.
And as you'll come to find, we're taking that technology and actually implementing it into the stuff that's initially available on the operating system. And in terms of where we're heading, we're just working on improving these existing features that are built into the operating system. So taking AI and allowing ourselves to be able to advance and improve on each one of these given scenarios, whether it's dictation, narration, image description, what have you.
And other things that we're not allowed to talk about right now.
On this particular day, that's correct. So, to continue further, let's talk a little bit more about dictation, but specifically fluid dictation. So the nice thing about this, which is enabled via our lovely PCs that we have, is the ability to be able to talk and have it correct on the fly. So I can talk and use filler words like or like or whatever it might end up being, or make a mistake or flub a word, and it'll go through and automatically correct it for me. So it does this in real time as you speak. It can add in punctuation, commas, periods,
Fixes your grammar.
fixes everything on the fly for you in real time. So it has this amazing ability, and we'll actually go to the video portion.
The audio through. But one of the cool things with this, and we have no audio.
Oh yeah. Here, I'll run it back for a second.
Hand up while I'm doing this.
Yeah.
So I guess my one question about this is, one of the challenges in a school is sometimes we want the accessibility features, but without the correction. Like if you're in third grade and you're teaching spelling,
Yes.
you don't want spell correction. So, the idea that it corrects your grammar and punctuation may not actually be great, because we want it to, that to be an ability of the student. So I will just ask if you can have that configurable where.
Yes,
Yeah, there's a toggle on, toggle off.
Okay.
you have to actively turn this feature on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not on by default. It is you need to turn this on. And then it will stay on when you're using it. So every time you open up voice access, you need to turn it back on.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'm going to call out on this, and I think it's really cool, is this was a hackathon project, which you will hear in a second, hopefully if the audio works. But this was something that one of our staff members who has accessibility requirements spec'd out a scenario and got built by devs, PMs, etc. And now it's making it into the product.
And now making out into the world.
Yeah, it's really pretty cool.
Yeah.
So let's see if it works. So this is where you turn fluid dictation on. And no, didn't work.
No, it's good. Well, the audio.
Yeah, the audio is not working. So
Yeah.
what you'll see along the top in the small black bar is what she's actually saying. And then it will type into the screen and show you what's showing. And
If you don't
dear
step on the cable.
God,
Just don't step on the cable.
I didn't step on the cable. I was nowhere near the cable.
It's still sharing.
Yeah, it's still sharing. So it's
There,
being
it's back,
recorded.
it's back.
And it's back up.
There it goes.
But what you'll see is it's going to make subtle changes to this as she types through. And it'll put the text up there initially as what she said, and then it will go and rewrite. I'm not anywhere near it, thank you.
No, what's going on? All right, it's back.
Yeah. Just don't touch anything.
Sounds like a
But like he was saying, so it'll go through and make those subtle changes. It'll add the punctuation. It'll go through, make the changes, and you can tell it what you want to do too, like or delete this last word or change the sentence. So you can step in and make adjustments on the fly as well. So not only will it do real-time correction, but you can, manually correct it on the fly via dictation. In addition to that.
So this is like one of the ones that we're super excited about because we think it's going to be very powerful, not just in the accessibility world,
But from an everyday use case perspective.
That's right. This is where drafting emails, things like that. So what you do is you draft it into Copilot and then it goes off and creates your email and then it does everything for you. But this is where it's about making it easier to have that conversation.
I've been playing with dictation just to try to do those things, send somebody something in Teams or whatever, and it's all the ahs and ums and
Yep.
Yeah.
So I would buy something just to do this.
Yep.
This actually kind of seems like a trend that's been coming around the last few months. So like the Microsoft pseudo competitors in the region, Amazon, for example,
Yes.
with Alexa Plus or whatever they're calling it. It's meant to be more fluid in conversation
Natural.
like this.
Yeah. Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So this is actually available today on DevBuild. So if you go to Windows Insider and sign up Dev, you can go and play with it. So long as, most importantly, you have a Copilot Plus device, because it is exclusive to the Copilot Plus family system, just because it's doing AI processing on the device and it's needing to be able to have those 40 tops to do the processing.
But again, it's on the device. It's not pushing this up to the cloud and processing it. There's no like latency or anything.
Yeah.
Because it's on device and local, you can do this while you're on the plane or whatever, so you don't have to worry about Wi-Fi or anything like that.
Just the air rushing noise.
So the other sidebar of not going up the cloud is a security standpoint.
Right.
So all of this is happening locally, so you don't have to worry about the data being ingested and whatever the layers of the data being ingested.
Correct. And that's exactly the conversation we've been having with our fantastic feature team on this. So they came to us and they're like, so what do you reckon customers' concerns will be about offloading this to the cloud? And we're like, which cloud? Which Copilot? And they're like, just Copilot. And it's like, there's more than one Copilot, guys.
Copilot, enterprise Copilot?
Yeah. So we started talking through and explaining that. And this is something that we went out to our customers. So obviously Nate highlighted at the top of the call or top of the conversation that we work with a lot of customers. So we're having regular syncs with customers and asking them these questions. And the overwhelming response was, dear God, if you are sending it to the cloud, it needs to go to the Microsoft 365 cloud first.
But their tenant.
In their tenant, obviously. And then if you want to go beyond that, sure, but you've got to show me everything associated with it. And it's going to take 3 months to get through regulatory requirements.
Yeah.
Because we typically work with financial organizations, et cetera, et cetera. And they just went, oh, okay. How do we do that? And like, good luck.
Yeah.
So we are definitely taking that under advisement. Yes. Question.
Question for the dummies in the room here, or I'm the dummy. So is this the same voice to text technology that's embedded in
No.
365 Copilot?
No, so this is not attached to the M365 Copilot.
At least not at
No,
this
I
time.
get that if you're gonna put it in the Windows OS, but it's
It's different. It's slightly, it's similar, but not the same.
Yeah.
Is what I would say, because it's processing it differently in the cloud. So it potentially will use the same models, but it's going to be different code doing that.
and this fluid dictation will be embedded in the OS.
Yes, this is literally in the operating system.
Yeah.
So if I go here, let's see if this will magically work for me. So this is part of our demo.
Is it, I guess, not to share too much of my life, but I basically have been doing what you're expressing here in M365 Copilot today.
Yeah.
A matter of fact, I recorded your whole conversation and the output was quite intriguing.
Yeah. So if you go here to interaction speech and you go voice actors, you'll see it there. But what should then happen, let's see if it'll pop up on that screen. Yes. Is all pop up here, but
There you go.
it's not showing me the cog over here that's supposed to then show me what's
And
going on.
maybe the sillier question is what's I guess the use case or value prop of putting it in the OS versus enhancing Copilot?
By putting it into the operating system, it allows for it to be across any application. So this will work with Notepad. This will work with
Okay.
Calculator. This will work with any third-party application. Literally, my next demo, my next session, we will be using this technology for our vibe coding session.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah,
That's
that's why it's so
because
powerful.
I've kind of figured a way to back end into this capability, but I didn't realize how siloed it was.
Whereas this will be anywhere in the operating system. You select a text box and you can dictate straight in there. Cool, right?
Super cool.
Never type your password wrong again.
Yes, but then you have to sit there and hope that nobody's listening around you.
Can you just whisper?
Depends on the sensitivity of your microphone. I would show you the whole voice access component, but it's not working easily, so I'll show it more in the next session.
That's the nice thing about
And
that.
is this you say this is forthcoming in a quality or a feature update?
So
soon?
it's in Windows Insider today, in the dev build. So if you go to dev Insider build, you'll be able to go and see that. That's what these devices are running. So it's there and you can use that and it's play with it, give us feedback, give us insight, tell us what we need to fix, change, whatever. We recently added more languages than English to it, which yay. We managed to localize, which is impressive for us on a new feature.
Yeah, that's true.
While it's still an insider, but yeah, give it a go. Let us know.
Maybe I missed it in the resources conversation, but does it dramatically alter the resources of
No, it's
Not
not
that we've seen.
Yeah.
persona?
Yeah, not that we've seen. It just needs to be a Copilot Plus device. That's the minimum bar. And it's going to use the end viewer device itself. So yeah,
But you'll like Hassan saying, you'll see a demonstration of him using it later on, so you'll get an idea of just how performant it is.
and we can also sit there and put the process monitor next to it, see how this works.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the Intel
And this
device.
Copilot Plus endorsement, is this something like Dell and Lenovo and everybody's gonna be stamping on their devices?
Should be.
Yeah.
Ideally. But then we get our good friends at Intel who are doing AI PCs with different tops and not meeting the Copilot Plus requirements, unfortunately.
I'm jealous.
I'm not getting involved in that conversation.
Yeah, Snapdragon got there first.
Snapdragon is phenomenal. This is a Snapdragon device here.
Yeah.
It is. So up until middle of last year, I used to travel with a MacBook Air. It was great. I could use it anywhere because I had phenomenal battery life. I'd go over for my breakfast every day, 1 to 2 hours, sitting there doing my emails, doing my Teams, getting out, starting my day, having my breakfast. Fantastic. And if I did it with my existing device that I had to charge the laptop every day. With the Mac, I'd lasted the whole week. With this, lasts the whole week. So it is like the Snapdragon devices, if you haven't looked into them, the ARM devices, battery life is phenomenal.
Yeah.
In saying that, same with the Intel devices. I was very impressed with that. I only got that on Wednesday and I'm only charging it once a day and it's going the full day. So battery life is actually growing.
No, yeah, the efficiency is pretty impressive, admittedly.
Winter Lake is
Huh?
amazing. Winter Lake is amazing.
Yeah. Definitely.
And put this an hour ago down the path.
Yeah. That's just because it's a Dell.
Oh.
No, my Lenovo was the same. So if you've seen me present at MMS, I typically run around with a Lenovo P15 Gen 1, which is like an i9 processor, 128 gig of RAM, 4 gig graphics card, LTE, 4K screen, touch. Believe it or not, the battery life was not very performant.
Oddly
So,
enough.
so if I was on a Teams call with background blur enabled, I had 45 minutes.
Gotta get,
Period.
you had to get through those calls so fast.
That's right. You were not getting any more than 45 minutes. Literally, you're sitting there and watching your battery percentage just incrementally go down. But anyway, yeah, as you can see, we like to get sidetracked.
Yes. Moving on. So one of the other ones that we'll talk to is a narrator. So we've done a few things with narrator. Previously, people were talking about how the voices were robotic, how it wasn't as natural sounding, and we wanted to improve on that. So the new version of narrator has better verbosity in terms of like how it will explain things to you. So there's different levels and tiers to how detailed its descriptions can be. And in terms of the actual language, it actually sounds like someone real, like person, is talking to you. It's no longer that kind of speak and spell type anymore. So we've moved beyond that. We've been able to increase the accuracy of that and the detail of it. It's much more natural sounding. And we've also added in different versions. So you can have like UK English, you can have American English, you can actually have Indian English, and also supports different languages as well. So it has some nice quality capabilities.
Unfortunately, the demo is going to suck though.
Well, it should be fine.
No, because it's got no audio.
Oh, well, I thought we fixed that.
Nope.
Well, we'll get to that later.
So if the audio is going out to the Teams feed, but it's just not.
No, I don't think it's going to the.
Yeah, 'cause I thought we might get it here, but
Yeah,
yeah.
you would have heard it from there.
Yeah, I didn't share with the audio because I'm an idiot. I'll acknowledge that, but also the room is not picking it up. So, but yeah, so otherwise the next demo would be really cool because it would be talking through how it steps through the cells and everything associated. One of
If you want to do share with audio, that hockey puck will make noise.
Cycle it up.
no, I didn't. That was the problem.
Yeah, because I get dings that I haven't been able to control. What?
What's your sound? Defaulted like
Yeah,
that here.
Sorry, everybody. We are going to be.
Oh, yeah, the crest.
Yeah, so that should put it through there.
Well, that's this.
If that's fine, so let's do this. I will reshare in a second. Yeah. How many people does it take to this thing? This is a legacy room.
Yes. It's a nice bit of it.
Don't know what's going on.
Next break.
Anyway, so yeah, as you can see, we have the ability to set up the personalization of the verbosity of the table, and it is contextually aware of what that screen is. So it will go and grab that and allow you to read back what is wanted. So I think that's pretty cool. And it would normally be talking to you, but
That's one of the things with running dev builds,
yep.
and also lovely legacy room audio sometimes.
Yes, indeed. So let's keep moving on.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're going to sit here for 2 minutes watching it just step through slides.
Yeah. Anyway, so on to then one of the next ones, which is technically a component of narrator, is our rich image description capability. So the nice thing about this is the idea behind it is that it would go through, analyze a given image. So if you're looking at something within Excel or just looking at an image online, for example, this would be able to go through and actually describe everything that it sees visually to add context. So it would go through, look at a chart, identify what's in the chart, what the chart's displaying, and then give you a readback of the image itself. So, chart is indicating what's on the x-axis, what's on the y-axis, and then the values there within.
How many people have dealt with screen readers today? How many times have you seen it hit an image without any alt text and it just goes, there's an image there?
Every time.
That's what this is to address.
Yes. So if I recall correctly, JAWS actually has something called Picture Smart
Yes.
that is similar to this sort of capability, but we're building this directly into the operating system. So any organization that has those JAWS licenses would be able to not have to worry about that anymore.
They would be able to work with their customer and end users to ensure that it meets their requirement before removing that license.
Sure.
So just to be very, very clear, we would like you to use the inbox stuff. We are building the inbox stuff so you don't need to go and buy the third-party components.
Yes.
But we also respect and understand that there is going to be scenarios where that third-party product is beneficial for your organization, for your end user.
Yeah.
JAWS is a good example of that, because what we find is we have some really good stuff in Narrator, but JAWS gives you more functionality and more control. So think of it like this: with Narrator / JAWS, you've got somebody talking in your ear constantly for 8 hours. You want to be able to control that personality who's talking to you and everything associated, rather than just sitting there and going, yeah, I'm going to select Microsoft David and he's fantastic. And he's very robotic, and you're sitting there and going, I can't sit there and deal with this.
Mhm.
So this is where we acknowledge that there's always going to be third parties that may do it differently. Not a problem,
Yeah.
but this is about us trying to make it so it's easier for you from a licensing point of view, if you're wanting and your staff are happy to go with this technology.
So random question on this.
Sure.
We, right now, and at every organization I've been at, probably the last 10 years, at any given time, about 1 in 5 to 1 in 10,000 people need something like JAWS
Yep.
or something else like this, which inevitably means that we are not experts on it.
Yes, sure.
So Microsoft has like engagements for all sorts of stuff. Is there any particular team that does like accessibility engagements for like these features?
Not at the moment.
Not in like a deployment or anything kind of like that.
What I think you'll find is in most regions, there will be associated with the sales org and accessibility, I won't say committee, but champions
Yeah.
that will go out and work in that space. So,
Yeah.
for example, in Australia, we have a gentleman down in Melbourne who has visual impairment, and we'll get him on calls with customers. Yes, sure, it's exploitation, but that's what he enjoys doing. But he'll sit there and explain how it works, all the technology associated with that. And this is where it's about enabling customers to be able to have that conversation. Do we have anything beyond that? It depends on region. I know we so the developers for this are all located in India, and our customers in India seem to think that they can just come and talk to every single customer, which is hilariously entertaining to have that conversation of, that's not how it works, sir. But this is part of that conversation of, do we want to promote this stuff more? Yes. And what we do have coming up is there's an accessibility event in March, I believe, in the US. I can't remember where. It might be San Fran.
I think it's San Fran.
Yeah. And our Windows Empower team, which is the accessibility team for the OS, will be presenting there, and we'll be talking about this sort of technology. We will also be talking about it at Ignite. So it is actually, I'm 99% sure, some of this functionality will be part of the keynote.
Yeah.
So we are investing in this area
Heavily.
Yeah, and it's about driving that adoption forward. So expect to see us talk about it more. But from an AI point of view, this is what we're doing. The other thing that I'll call out as well, it leads to an interesting conversation coming back to the product that we purchased, is that we don't make profit from accessibility. That's why we're putting it into the operating system. It's part of the licensing model that you get with Windows, but we're not going to charge you anything extra for accessibility today. There's an exception with the console space, obviously, and certain software, but in the OS, that's not on our cards.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. What's next?
I believe. Woo! So any overall questions when it comes to accessibility? Anything that we're like missing? Any gaps that you guys have identified or noticed in terms of accessibility features that you would want or want to see in the future, or ways that we could improve?
the challenge, virtualization.
Mhm.
So PC, Copilot Plus,
Mhm.
local on the computer, awesome. Start getting into Citrix, AVD,
Right.
Windows 365. Now what?
One of those will be addressed in the coming weeks.
Yes.
So Citrix. No, so as much as we joke, it's a very serious question, and NPUs aren't being virtualized today.
Right.
We know that, but there is some work being done in that area, but it's going to be tied to certain devices and device types. Because what will end up happening is that we're basing it, putting it into the GPU, and it will be pseudo playing as an NPU. So are we excited about that? Yes. But are we allowed to talk about it? No.
Not for 2 weeks.
That's right. Correct.
If you know if these features, because some of these features are linked to the hardware Copilot Plus.
Correct. Yes.
Let's just say a scenario where we've identified somebody with a need, but for whatever reason, we cannot give them a Copilot PC. Do you think that these features could be enabled via the Copilot, the $30 a month license? So they could get these features in a way that have the ability to give them the device.
It's something that we've been talking about with the future teams to a certain degree.
So some of them will make sense that we can offload.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to talk to which ones we're talking about, but I'll talk to the ones that don't make sense. So fluid dictation, for example, that's not something that will work well being offloaded. Correct.
Yeah.
It's already got a little bit of latency there, but by offloading that to the cloud, it's going to have a lot more latency, and it's going to interrupt how people talk to the device.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's not going to be a good use case to offload. But there's other components where, okay, sure, we can offload it, but this is where the conversation comes back to what's an acceptable time for a round trip for that workload to be offloaded.
Yeah. How is that latency going to impact the end user? Is it going to be too much latency? And then you also have to take into account like how that data is going to be processed within your tenant. So there's things like that you have to take into account for potentially allowing these sorts of scenarios to work, some of these different kinds of scenarios that we've talked about from an accessibility standpoint, to work on potentially non-Copilot processes.
So we're not saying no, we're just saying it's complicated depending upon the workload.
Yeah.
I can just think of scenarios where just for whatever reason I can't replace the device.
Yep.
Yeah.
But somebody has, like you said, sometimes a short-term need, they broke their wrist.
Exactly.
They need this for 3 months, they don't need it for 4 years.
Exactly.
Yes.
So if I can buy the $30 thing for 3 months and let it function, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just,
Yeah,
Exactly.
and for me, I look at that as a swap and go scenario. Oh, okay, you've broken your wrist, so I've got a spare Copilot Plus device here. Here you go. You're just getting a new computer today, and we continue moving on. And such is life, that device gets reissued to the next person.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it from I'm allocating a device to Nate for 4 years to I have a device in my fleet for 4 years.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where it's come from, who it is. It's just, okay,
Yeah.
you have a need for a Copilot Plus device. Here you go.
Yeah.
And then
at that point, it just becomes like inventory management.
Yep.
You have extra one lying around. Okay, this person has the need.
I think that would be a possibility. For me personally, I have 0 Copilot PCs.
Yeah.
I have 0 CapEx left until
Yes.
July 1st.
Of course.
So, that's just my situation.
And
that's
that's
okay.
it.
Yeah.
We get that.
Right.
Like we recognize that and we do understand that. Yeah. And to be honest, we sympathize with you. But this is also where I'm sure if you have a chat to your account team and go, hey, I want to test this stuff out. Can you hook us up? There's a chance that there's conversation to be had there.
Yeah, a pretty legitimate chance nowadays too.
Yeah. That's my experience anyway.
From an accessibility standpoint, if you have to talk to the accounting people in your work
Yes.
and spend $2,000 or $3,000, it's a lot cheaper than the end of you didn't meet the needs of the accommodation request.
Totally, yes.
Yes,
Exactly.
I mean,
yes.
high profile case, I think it was American Airlines, had someone who was visually impaired. They didn't handle it in a timely manner.
Yep.
They didn't put any effort into trying to handle it, and now they owe the person that 7 digit sum.
Mhm.
And that's exactly the conversation that it comes down to.
Yeah,
And to be clear, we don't want to be sitting here and going, you need to buy Copilot Plus devices for accessibility.
No.
Like, as much as, yes, we really want you to buy Copilot Plus devices, please buy a Copilot Plus
But
device.
buy them in general.
But it's not just for this scenario. But we're sitting there and saying, well, we do have legitimate scenarios in that accessibility sphere that will work better on Copilot Plus devices.
it's a benefit.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's the plus plus of Copilot Plus. Yes.
Right.
You were really trying to work that one in, huh?
I know. You notice that there's no marketing in the room.
Yeah, I know, but still.
You have to get along really well marketing and the product managers.
Yep. Yep.
I have that all the time into this really cool feature. How do I buy it? I have no idea.
Everybody has E5, right?
Right? Yeah.
Oh, no, E5 is not enough.
Oh, no, it's the Intune add-on.
Yeah.
Intune suite.
Just seeing if there's any questions.
Do you have the
Yeah,
premium
it's,
Intune license?
Which one?
The premium, the premium
That's
plus?
the regular check.
I'll sell you.
Yeah, no chat, no questions.
There's a price
Cool.
like $1
Oh,
for
yeah.
everyone. And then just provide all the crap. Sorry.
All right. Well, is there anything else for you? Does this make sense? And do you think it's a valuable feature that we're adding?
100%, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because to your point, when you added the EOS, it becomes available to the 20-year-old educational app that doesn't, it allows a student to speak the words they're going to put into this app that, I had no idea that this thing was ever going to exist.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's essentially a virtual keyboard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where it opens up that accessibility, for legacy things that, the online portion doesn't have that level.
Yeah, especially from the dictation standpoint. Once you switch over into dictation mode, where it's just then it becomes so natural where you're just like switch to Word. Then you start typing out what you want to say within Word. And you're like, okay, copy and paste this sentence, paste it now into my email, into Outlook.
Right.
And we can, I mean, Hoskin's going to go through some different demos around that in his next session, obviously. But it is kind of that easy once you get down to it. But yeah, any clicker there?
There you go.
Another?
I'm just highlighting.
Right.
So now that I'm not
Oh,
full
right,
screen
right.
anymore,
Right.
you can see that fluid dictation option now.
Yeah.
So when you hit the cog, it will turn it on. The important thing, and I like calling this out because it's definitely something that is very important in this region,
Yes.
is as soon as you turn on the fluid dictation, the profanity filter is on by default and you can't turn it off.
You're not allowed to swear in your emails?
Well, you can, but
You
it'll
can.
just show up as asterisks.
Exactly.
Oh, so
Trust me, I played around with this last night.
Yep.
I'm trying to find the words that it doesn't start.
I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I do that?
But believe it or not, we may be providing some feedback to our very awesome product group going, hey, that might be a concern for some customers.
For certain regions.
Yes.
I have a Copilot Plus feature request.
Uh-huh.
Can we have a feature in Copilot Plus to make it so it bleeps out improper words that you use on a Teams meeting?
You mean
Use a small language model to bleep that out real time as you say that.
Go and raise it with the Teams team because they're going to need to do that
I
process.
mean, for the PII filtering. PII or financial data filtering?
Hold on, P has something to say.
No, I'm not saying anything around it. Because it's not public yet, so I'm not allowed to talk about it
well,
yet.
don't say
What
that
are you
even.
talking about?
But also from a language point of view, these are all the languages that are available by default. It's the most common ones used.
Yeah.
Let's be very open and transparent.
I love that English Australia is its own language.
Oh, yes.
Don't get me started on the English Australia. It's a problem. There's some major issues with it, and I'm not going to go into why.
So, accessibility question related to hearing aids. So Apple has the MiFi or M5, whatever you call it, MFI hearing aid thing, where it's like most major hearing aid manufacturers are built to connect to iPhone, iPad.
Yes.
Is Windows starting to put some importance to that? That's this.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
It's being improved.
And so this is something where, like, if you have
As long as it's a Bluetooth LE,
MFI is like the same thing as Bluetooth LE.
I believe so. Yeah.
There's minor nuances to that, but
Yeah, that's a challenge. So my daughter has hearing loss, and she has hearing aids that are that Apple MFI compatible.
Yep.
iPhone, iPad, friend, Android, bad,
Yeah.
PC, bad.
Yeah. So try this. I'd love to hear how you get on with it. To be honest,
Is
Because
this
we
general
have-
release yet, or
that should be in GA, I believe.
this one I think is GA.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I recall correctly.
I'll be there.
Yeah. No, I'd be
But like
curious.
sincerely reach out to us and let us know how that experience is because we can
Next time we have a call.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Rudy's one of my
Yeah,
customers.
no, I know.
Cool. All right. Well,
Yeah.
Any other questions before we
Do we also want to take like a
10
5-minute break or
minutes? Yeah.
something?
Oh yeah, 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Freshen up, grab some more water.
Let's
We good?
uh,
Sounds good. Thank you.
yeah.